Now, if we continue now and we talk about COVID, which was a very crucial time, it was a paradigm shift for me personally, because I have seen nations react in a way that I never thought they would react ever, ever. You know, my my history a little bit. I lived in Asia from 2011 to
Mhm.
2019. I was very pro Asia. If you asked me
Mhm.
about Asia 5 years ago, I was a die-hard Southeast Asia fan. I would have never left region. But what came to happen, right? What really happened back then was that I realized that, I want to be a little bit more than just a visitor. I want to be like a person who is a permanent resident of that specific country. I want to
Mhm.
have civil rights. I want to own property. And then COVID hit, which was like in early 2020. And what we have seen there during COVID in certain countries, for instance, and this is fact, like you can go to groups, you can probably find some entries about that. I have talked to people who this really happened to. People were forcefully jabbed in certain countries there. They were not
Mhm.
asked, do you want to get the COVID vaccine or do you not want to get the COVID vaccine? No, they were forcefully jabbed by the authorities because they happened to be in the country, at the time when it happened. And I think that was a time for a lot of people where they really woke up. They woke up and they were like, wow, I just never envisioned it that way. I thought this was a place of freedom of choice,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. And on top of that, it was just frightening to see how residents and citizens of countries in Southeast Asia were not able to get back into the country. So imagine this for a moment, right? Because this isn't just about you. This is about your
Mhm.
whole family. It's about your whole life. If you were, for instance, in a different country, let's say you were a European that was stuck, in his or her country during COVID, and you wanted to go back to Southeast Asia because you had family there, you had your business there, you had a long-term visa, you were a student, you were learning the language, whatever your reasons were for staying in the region back then, you were not allowed in, not even if you
Mhm.
quarantined. So they closed this tap completely for a long time. So nobody could get in, nobody could get out. It was just completely closed. And at that time, I realized that you can only judge something, somebody, a country, a government, politician when you hit the bad times. It's easy to react good during good times, but how does somebody treat you during the bad times? Because that's ultimately the only thing that matters. Like you can have a good time for 5 years, and then all of a sudden you hit a bad run for a couple of years and things go south, and you actually get to know the true colors of that person. What I saw there was really discouraging, it was disheartening. And many friends of mine who lived in Asia and they had investments there, they bought property, like they told me, this is it. This is it. Like, I don't want to live in a place that is so repressive, which it was. And some places did it for 2 years, 2 years, complete madness. For what? For what? For controlling people, for this whole xenophobia and paranoia that could have been solved in a much more humane way. And then I look at Latin America, like Mexico was completely open. And
Mhm.
Mexico really used that time well to build its reputation. And guess what? That's why I'm here. I love people that treat me well during the bad times. I also love people that treat me good during the good times, but when poo poo hits the fan, what's next? Because it's easy to be with somebody when times are good, and it's easy not to be with somebody when times are bad. And so I kind of appreciate that about Latin America a lot more. And the fact that countries like Colombia, Dominican Republic, Mexico were so open during times of great uncertainty, where you could go there, have a good time without a COVID test, without a COVID vaccine. And I think more people now realize that this is the only thing that really matters is how somebody treats you during the bad times. Because the good times, it's very easy to treat somebody good during the good times, but bad
Mhm.
times is like the ultimate test. And Asia failed the ultimate test. They failed the ultimate test so big
Oh.
that they lost me forever. I'm never going back there. I'm never going back there because I saw how some of my friends were treated. and how they were
Mhm.
locked out of the country and how they were being terrorized and tyrannized, that I'm never going back there. Not one penny am I going to spend in that region ever again, unless politics change there so much that I can convince myself, okay, the character of that place has changed. And character is something that you learn again during the bad times, because the good times, we're living in wealth, we're having a good time. It's very easy to be nice during the good times, right? It's very easy to not go. But when it gets tough, when it gets difficult, are you still with me or not? Because that's the only thing that I care about. If I'm a customer, I want to know if I still get support when I bought a product a month later, 2 months later. If I buy a laptop, anything, vehicle, I want to make sure I'm in good hands. And so I cannot refer Asia anymore because of that. Not because there's no money to be made. I think there's a lot of money to be made in Asia, but it's
Mhm.
a matter of integrity. It's a matter of character. And my character, my integrity does not go with the rules and the system of Southeast Asia anymore. No more, no mas. My patience is over for that region. And many people have realized that now. And they also have come to a point where they said, there's got to be better options out there. And it's not just about COVID, right? It's also about the whole visa situation where you just don't know. Will it change in a month or 2 months? Can I still remain there? Even if I'm married to a local person, there's no guarantee that I can remain in the country 5 years later, because you don't know what the government does there. The government can't do anything. You got no path to citizenship there. No, no path
Mhm.
to citizenship. No option. So you cannot feel secure in a country that doesn't want you.
Subscribe now and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future nomadism, dating and business advice videos. Thank you for watching.